Welcome to Wild High Life. Today we're going to teach you how to solder copper joints. The reason why we need to solder today is because the handyman that plumbed the cold water supply for the toilet used a gas nipple and a galvanized cap. That won't work for two reasons. It unscrews inside the wall and it rusts. So we're going to be connecting to the PEX piping that's coming off the plumbing in the house. So the first thing we're going to do is point out that when you do soldering, you need to be set up so that things are comfortable and stable. Last thing you want is a hot piece of solder or a hot piece of pipe to roll off and start a fire. I've made myself this little table for things like this. Here's the PEX connector right here on the end of the pipe. Our goal is to solder that on so that it doesn't leak. Okay? First thing we need to do is cut off a nipple to come out of the wall. We're going to use a tubing cutter because if you try to use a hacksaw or something, it'll put kinks in the tubing. So we put it in here like this with the blade and the rollers. We tighten it up. That's about the right length. We start to score it. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. And then we have the nipple that we need. I'll set these things off to the side. Now, we use emery cloth to roughen up the nipple. Oh, I forgot to clean it out. Alright, that's clean. We use emery cloth to roughen it up so that the solder has something to grab hold of. I suppose you could use sandpaper, but that would leave scratches in it. We'll do the inside of the fitting also. Okay, now we're ready for the soldering paste. We use soldering paste to keep the oil from our fingers and other things from keeping the solder from sticking. We use a brush to put it on. We'll put it in here. Put it on the pipe. Alright, now we join these. We'll light our torch. The strategy behind soldering is to let the heat draw the solder into the joint so that it doesn't leak. Now, we use a clicker, turn on the gas a little bit, turn it down a little bit. Alright, now, the hottest part of this flame is right there at the tip of that cone. We'll want to use that on. We'll get it heated up a little bit, heat up the solder a little bit, and we'll get a little bit of solder started. This is silver solder, so it takes more heat than lead solder, which has been outlawed. Now we'll heat this up and let it suck that solder in. Okay, see how it's sucking the solder right in the joint? And we'll use our pliers to turn it. This may not be pretty, but it won't leak. Okay, the solder that fell to the bottom, I'll just reuse that. Heat it up a little bit, suck it in. See how it sucks right in there? Alright, we'll give it one last go around just to make sure everything's good. Everything's good and hot now. It just sucks right in. I don't mind using plenty of solder just to make sure that it doesn't leak. Okay. We'll do just one more side. And we're done.